Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Learn with Handry. So, as the previous video, we had discussed already about the rectangles, right? So there's a challenge to create a rectangle. So we have three types of rectangles that we have to create. The first one is the perfect rectangle. The second one is the outline rectangles. And the very last one is the diagonal rectangles, right? So how to make those kinds of rectangles, right? Maybe some of you no wonder feels like how to create the rectangles by using the for loop and by using the selections. Yeah, so basically the hint that I could give you right now is that to create all the rectangles you will need only the selections and the looping for. Okay, so without further ado, let's get to the canvas. So you see in the canvas, so the first one, we are trying to solve the perfect rectangle. So we need to getting to know the idea behind how to create the perfect rectangles, right? So let me write this one. So it's a perfect rectangles, right? Okay, so just saying that your perfect rectangles maybe supposed to be like 3 multiplied by 3. Yeah, it's just for the basic one, yeah, for the simple one. So let's say you have the 3 by 3 rectangles. So if you can see in your canvas, there is a grid. Yeah, it helps us to um, to draw better rectangles, of course. Okay, so 3 by 3, you're supposed to have your rectangle something like this, right? This is what we call a perfect rectangles. So let me draw. You have your index. Oops, it's too big. Okay, so array is starting from 0, 1 and 2. Okay, 0, 1 and 2. Okay, so it depends. You could say your I or your row or your columns. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So if I say it's a row, then this is your row. It's too big, yeah. So let me try to make it smaller. So okay, so this is your row. Okay, and this one is your column. Okay, so let's see what is the idea behind how to create these kinds of rectangles. Okay, so if you see in here, so we know already to draw uh, rectangles, by your rectangles will have row and columns, right? So it means you're gonna have two dimensions, yeah, dimension row and dimensions columns. So you know that to create this one, you will need a two-dimension array, yeah, for the easy way. Okay, so you're gonna need a two-dimension array to the array. That's a hint. Okay, and how do you draw the x? Yeah, the x. So basically you try to iterate starting from the first row. Okay, so let's see, you are starting your let me draw it by the red colors. Okay, so let's say your current state, it's in the I equals to 0. Okay, so I equals to 0, and you try to loop j equals to 0, j equal to 1, j equal to 2. Every time you loop, you need to print x, print x, and print x, right? So this is your I, this is your starting point, right? You iterate from I equals to 0 and iterate through the columns, right? So print x, print x, and print x. And afterwards, you do the increments. Okay, your very outer looping for. So it depends. So here it's I increment to be 1 and j same equals to 0 equals to 1 equals to 2, and you try to print x and print x the same again. Okay, it's the same. But before you do this one, you see here there is a new lines, right? Every time you iterate through the row, yeah, every time you are at the end of your column for each row, you need to print new line, right? So that's why every time you finish iterate through your i's, yeah, not through I, actually through j column, yeah, so you need to print the new line in here. Okay, and so on. So I equals to 1, this is your I now, and you iterate through j, and j equals to 2. Okay, and again you print x, print x, print x, yeah, and here you need to print as well, print the new line. Okay, so your I equals to 2, this is your current state. You try to loop in through the j variables, yeah, through your columns. Okay, I think this is really straightforward. It's just the same like you would like to print all the value of two-dimension array. It's the same. You try to initialize in this two-dimension array basically. So to create the perfect rectangle, it's really straightforward. As you already know how to implement your two-dimension array, I think this won't be a problem for you. Okay, so for the implementation of the code, you will see in the next video. But before you see the video, please try to understand first the idea how to create the perfect rectangle. Okay, I think that's all for this video, and see you in the next video.